Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone survived today's back and forth wackadoo session. I mean, that's the best way I can really describe it. Looking here at the NASDAQ 30-minute chart, starting with the overnight session, you can see there's a lot of back and forth. Then we get in the open, we get a little bit of a sell-off, and then it's just a lot of back and forth. You even get a nice sell-off at noon, and then we recovered after the bond auction. We got FOMC minutes later on. It was just back and forth. So that's why I said, I hope you survived. And we get a day off tomorrow to honor the late Jimmy Carter. And yeah, so tomorrow we're off, and then we're back at it on Friday. But yeah, let's kind of jump into it. SPY flat on the day, QQQ relatively flat on the session, the Dow flat, the IWM down about a point. Yeah, we're still in this range between 584 on the SPY and 602. Again, nothing crazy broken here on the S&Ps. But like I said, today was very, very data heavy. We had our ADP non-farm employment change, which came in less. Well, it rose less than expected, but then we also have our unemployment weekly claims, which also came in below the expectations at 201,000. So this means that the jobless claims fell essentially to a 10.5-month low. So the economy's still in pretty good shape. I mean, not a lot of jobless claims, even though the ADP non-farm employment change came in lower than expectations. So yeah, there's that. Interpret that however you see fit. And we're not done yet. You know, even though tomorrow's a holiday, we still have another round of employment data on Friday, and that's going to be big readings. We got the non-farm employment change, and we have the unemployment rate, followed by the preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So we're going to be ending the week with a bang, to say the least. One of the big stories for sure came really last night, and that was with commentary from NVDA CEO Jensen making a statement that these quantum computers using the emerging technology could still be about 15 to 30 years away. And boy, did these guys get punched in the throat. IONQ down 39%. Other names got affected like RGTI, QUBT, QMCO. So yeah, unless you're, it is tough because things like this can happen. And, obviously you got them really from a curveball with Jensen saying that, yeah, these things are still about 30 years out. And, who knows what the fundamentals, you could probably go into the fundamentals and try to read up who's the strongest and all that. But if the NVIDIA CEO is saying, yeah, these things are still like 30 years out, then, I'm definitely going to have to put some merit to that. So if you're looking for a long-term hold, yeah, definitely give these things a look. Maybe, who knows, years to come, these things rocket back up. But who knows, what the future holds for these companies with that much time on the table. But yeah, definitely do your due diligence on these names, and do what's best for you in that area. But yeah, I'm not going to spiel too much on that. Yeah, today was just kind of wacky, a lot of back and forth. Apple had a good session in the morning, and it looked like the market was going to follow Apple, but then we just kind of gave it away. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but yeah, things definitely turned around after the European close, and then we erased all the gains, and then we got the positive reaction to the 30-year bond auction, and then we got into the FOMC minutes. And yeah, those were pretty interesting because Federal Reserve officials, they agreed that inflation is likely to continue to slow this year, but they also see a rising risk that price pressures may remain sticky as policymakers begin to wrestle with the impacts of basically the Trump administration coming in, and they also expect that inflation would still continue to move toward 2%, but higher than expected readings on inflation and the effects of the potential changes in trade and immigration policy suggest that this process could take longer than previously expected. And several observed that the disinflationary process may have stalled temporarily, or noted that the risk that it could stall even more. So higher rates for longer. We know that they're not going to cut. Well, they mentioned that they're not going to cut rates nearly as much this year than what they did in last year. So, but they're still going to. They noted that they're still going to use the data as it comes in, especially with the PCE and all that good stuff. So we'll still be focusing on the key important data points that come in, and that they're going to take a careful approach when considering further cuts. And I mean, we had a Waller come in and speak earlier, and he was trying to issue some dovish comments saying that the extent of further easing will depend what the data tells us about the progress towards 2% inflation. And he said that his bottom line message is that he believes that more cuts will be appropriate. So, there's a little bit of an olive branch for you as far as that goes. So let's take a look here at the SPY. Like I said, we're still kind of holding this zone. Nothing too crazy, even though it felt a little bit wackadoo. SPY still in a neutral position on the daily. Let's go zip into the hourly. Hourly has moved to a more neutral spot, still holding. It's got still a little bit left of that gap to fill towards 584. It pretty much got into it, and then we got support down here at 581. So yeah, there you go. 581 still seems to be the big level of support. Let's go over to the NASDAQ real quick and take a peek there. Looking here at the NASDAQ continues to hold the daily 50, so that's good. Still a low compression squeeze, still in neutral territory. And yeah, IWM down about 1 point today. Nothing too crazy, but it's doing what it needs to do, holding 219. If we start to lose 219, I'm expecting us to at least retest the daily 200, which sits at about 215. And the Dow also nothing too crazy as well, still holding above 421.72. If we start to lose 421.72, then yeah, things get a little bit hairy and we could come down and retest the daily 200. So there's that. All right, so yeah, quantum computing names got hit. Semiconductors were a little bit off as well, but still holding. NVDA as well is holding on to its key moving averages. We're still in a low compression squeeze after that big sell-off yesterday off of the CES event and commentary by CEO Jensen there. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's see here. What else do we got? Hold on, I had my scans up. We took a position in Johnny John. That broke down. Let me show you this. Johnson & Johnson broke that 143 level. We talked about this on Sunday. If she starts to break 143, I'm looking for lower prices towards that 140 area. So that's looking pretty good. Nike did pretty well for us. And you know what? If we go back to semiconductors, AMD, I'm keeping an eye on this. I might take a new swing position on AMD. We're entering in a new daily squeeze. You see how we went from a compression here. This is, we got short here. We took it down and, made a good profit off of it. Now we've gotten our bounce here to the 2150 zone. And we're entering in a new squeeze. We were in a low compression. Now we're in a mid compression squeeze. If this squeeze continues to shape up, I'm going to look for it to start to fire to the downside again and maybe even take us to the 100 level. So that's what I'm going to be looking for as far as AMD goes. Let me real quick run one scan here, and that will be it for today. So let me run a bullish scan. Oh yeah, Google is on my radar for some upside here. Google, yeah, had a nice little breakout of the triangle, getting a little bit of a retest. We're still in a, well, now we're in a medium compression here, which is a normal squeeze, really. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. Net as well looks pretty darn good. I was trying to price out some options, and I didn't really see anything that I liked. So I'm going to give this another day. Maybe we can catch a momentum breakout Friday or so. Sucks that we got the day off tomorrow because there's a lot of nice setups that we could be taking a look at. ANET looks good. Let's see, Roblox still looks good, but I would like to see Roblox come back down to the daily 21 like it did right here. You see how you came back down to the daily 21. We're still in this squeeze, so that's good, and we saw a positive thrust. So definitely keeping an eye on that. And yeah, I think I think that's good. All right, so reminder, the market is closed tomorrow to honor the late President Jimmy Carter, so no trading, which is a bummer. I'm going to be bored, but I'm going to be doing some work too, so it's not like I'm not going to be here. And then we'll be back at it on Friday. So yeah, there you go. SPY still stuck in the range. Plenty of economic data to close things out on the week. And we'll just keep it going. All right, guys, y'all have a good afternoon, and we will see you all on Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.